on those ear goggles, bitches. It's time for some pop goulash. I'm Ruben, and today we have a return visitor that I'm so glad is back. You know that voice.
You do. That sexy, sultry voice.
Of Carlos Spicy
I can't even
Wiener.
talk. Carlos Spicy Wiener, a.k.a. Mr. Hot Sauce.
What's going on, Carlos? How you been, done?
Doing really, really good, man.
Nice. It's
It
been
feels good to be back in the Bat Cave.
Well, we're not in the Hood Cave today. We are actually on a remote location in the other part of
a secret remote location.
Secret, sexy remote location of North Aurora, Illinois.
But it feels very, very good to be back.
And this is home, away from home, really.
It is.
So, but I'm glad to have you back, man. It's been far too long. You need to get your shit figured out at home because I need to have you back on the podcast more often.
I need to get paid. Okay.
Yeah, well, so do I. So it's costing me money, son. But across the table from me, we actually have a special guest in the studio tonight. This man I've known for going on 11 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. He is the pastor of a church. And
You just lost 40 listeners.
Right.
But don't let that turn you away, actually. He's not what you think of a pastor. He's not your granddad's pastor, that's for sure. He might be your dad's pastor, but not your granddad's pastor, that's for sure.
It's only got 4 clerical collars.
Yes, he's only,
No more.
right.
Wearing it now.
So across the table from me, I have Scott Hodge. How you doing, Scott?
Hey, I'm good. Ruben, thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, I'd love to have you. This was a get, actually, having you on the show.
It was like, what?
A get.
A get.
Yeah.
I thought you said a gift.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
That too.
Oh.
But it's one of those where I was always like, dude, I'd love to get Scott on the podcast. But it's never going to happen knowing how foul-mouthed we are and how everything goes. And then I realized that Scott's just like us. So, I just embarrassed him. So
You made me laugh.
But yeah, no,
Good to
and
be here.
I know, and it was one of those where I'm like, dude, I'd love to get him on the podcast, but it's going to be near impossible because I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on. You know, you pastor of a very busy church, a successful church. We got a new building that we're building out, which is pretty cool to hear all the good news about that. And you know, you got a family too, and trust me, I know it's not easy to balance everything out. That's why I usually record these at like 9:30 at night.
Well, thanks
Yeah,
for
so-
asking me. Good to be here.
So
It's an honor.
yeah,
Cheers.
So stop
Salute.
giving me shit about my family.
right. No, I'm not going to stop.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Clinkies.
Clink, clink.
Clinkies. So, tonight we are drinking the
Maja.
Maja. Make
Maja.
America
Maja.
Juicy Again by Heretic Brewing Company because I felt that would be apropos.
It's really, really good.
It's delicious, actually. Very grapefruity.
It is very
Yeah. Nice citrus.
tasty.
Good hops to it. Smooth.
Yummy.
How do you like the
A little
aftertaste?
cloudy.
It's cloudy. I like the
Yeah.
cloudiness. It's delicious.
Cloudy IPAs are great.
Yeah.
Been enjoying cloudy
Mm.
IPAs.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Northeast.
Yeah,
right?
Northeast style.
IPAs.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had Tom Janis on. You know Tom. Tom came a couple times, played in the band with us a few
Okay.
times.
Yep.
And he was complaining. He's like, all these damned IPAs, I can't tell them apart. What's the big difference? Northeast IPA. Can I just get a beer? I'm like,
Well,
yes,
the
there's a fridge full of them.
Northwest IPAs are extremely bitter.
Yes.
Very hoppy, right?
Mhm.
And then you got these northeast ones that are cloudy.
New England IPAs, as they, if
New
you will.
England. That's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
So,
Goes great with crab and lobster.
yes, I would assume so. But
With what?
Crab and lobster.
if it's from the Northeast,
why not?
It's a New England IPA.
Yeah, okay.
You have it in a shanty.
Not a big crab guy, but once in a while. Crab cake.
Crab cakes are good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Crab, lobster, and hefty women.
Fat
That's
bottom girls
what
make
I
the
always like.
make the rock and world go round.
They do
as-
make it go round.
as
Yeah.
Queen would like to tell you. So, but the reason I've got these two on, for one, we've missed Carlos, and two, for Scott here, is that they went on Scott and Carlos's most excellent adventure with a couple other dudes, and they actually took a culinary excursion through
It was
Thailand,
like a missions trip.
but without really being a missions trip.
It was
It was an unmission trip.
Yeah.
The truth is, we suffered for Jesus
horribly.
in
Yeah.
Thailand. It was a little hot.
Oh, dude, it's
But
extremely
You
hot
know what?
in
It was
Thailand.
actually hotter when we got back.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was hotter here.
Was it the heat or the humidity?
Here it was the humidity.
Oh, yeah,
it
it's
was
brutal.
humid there, but I got off the airplane here, walked out of the airport. I was like, oh, my goodness, this is
At night.
awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah, get right up
Absolutely.
into it,
Yeah.
Scott.
All right,
Right
how's
on.
that?
Busy.
I just feel like I'm so close to the microphone.
That's okay.
that
You
can
ha-
hear my mouth noises.
You're gonna have to. I'm sorry. There's no way around it.
That's all right. I'm on it.
Until I get my Patreon 100% up and ready to go, where I can afford a good board and a good laptop.
It works.
This is what has to be done.
It works.
So.
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you want me to sort of jump in and talk about what we went there for? Why we went?
Definitely. I mean, you had a
vision for sure. Because
you had
we
a
had
hand
actually
in-
talked about it.
Right.
creating it and curating it.
Yes.
So I think it'd be good to hear that overall view, and then we can dive in.
Well,
Word.
travel is one of my favorite things to do. I've traveled a fair amount. Not. I mean, I'm no Anthony Bourdain, but I've definitely traveled a fair amount. And whenever I travel, it does something good inside of me. One of the the thoughts that I often share is change of pace plus change of place equals change of perspective.
Change of attitude, change of latitude.
It needs to be a tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is somewhere. Some college girl's got a tramp stamp of it. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, so I think, you know what? It was, I was trying to think of something funny to say right after that, but nothing came to me. So I'm
He's
just
like inappropriate.
I don't
Moving
know,
on.
inappropriate. I just don't. I'm just not that fast. Anyway, no, you know what? I went to Thailand for the first time in 2007. This was my fifth trip, I think fifth. And Thailand is one of those places that, you talk about a completely different. I mean, you've been there, Ruben. I mean,
absolutely.
It's a completely different culture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can go to Europe, you can go to Mexico, you can go to different places, and you definitely experience different culture. But Thailand, I mean, you've got different language, different culture, different smells.
Oh my God,
You're gonna smell things you've never smelled before, and maybe never want to smell again.
Yeah,
Durian. Durian.
Oh, wow,
I can't believe you didn't have him eat durian. I'm so disappointed about that.
They did. We tried a couple times, and then we kind of forgot about it, I think.
we did.
Durian's not that bad.
Oh, it's awful. It's
They have
terrible.
durian drinks that I
The
saw.
texture is what's awful.
No, the
And
texture
the
was
smell.
the texture was
smell.
the one thing I could get past. It was
Really?
the smell and the onion flavor. It was like
Oh.
onion flavored garbage. I couldn't handle it.
I did not have when I had durian. I did not taste onion.
See, I've had it
at all.
twice. I had it once,
and you tasted onion both times.
yeah. When I was in Vietnam, I had it, and it tasted like onions and fermented garbage.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And then when I got to Thailand, I had it, and they covered it in honey. So then it tasted like honey-covered onions and fermented garbage. It was foul.
Just got to
I
put
mean-
hot sauce on it, man.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
But it has a custard texture to it.
Yeah,
Like
it
a
does,
very
the custardy,
creamy,
yes.
custardy texture, and I got pictures of me like holding it and taking a bite, and then instantly regretting taking the bite.
Yeah, and it's funny because there are signs all over Thailand at hotels and businesses that say, basically, do not bring your durian into our establishment.
Yeah, because it
It's
stinks up the
disgusting.
joint. So I'm sorry.
That's all right. No. So
Scott, this is
we-
going to be the perfect place for you because we are ADD
Oh, it's
AF.
great. Wonderful.
So
Wonderful. And my meds have worn
Hashtag.
off by now, so this would be a
Sweet.
lot of fun.
ADDAF.
Yeah.
that's
so
going to be the name of the podcast.
There you
ADD
go.
AF.
I'm stealing that. That's good.
Sweet. That'll be the next sermon series.
That's it. As faithful as the faithful. Is that
Yes,
what they're
yes, as the
for?
faithful.
Yeah.
We
So
can make it
anyway,
spiritual.
Thailand, it's such a unique culture, and so this was about immersion. It was a culinary. I guess the best way I would say it is a culinary / adventure / learning trip, right? And boy, did we eat!
A lot. Nonstop.
Yeah, we ate a lot. But
I would say nonstop.
we just were fitting in with the Thai people because Thais do not eat 3 meals a day. They eat constantly throughout the
Yeah.
day, right?
Well, the food is always so
and there's
light
food.
and fresh for the most part.
Food everywhere
Like,
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, food everywhere. I mean, you seriously walk around Thailand and go, how are there enough people to eat all this food,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everywhere. And so we ate a lot. In fact, one of the highlights, should we talk about this? One of the highlights was eating at Gaggan.
That was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was my
talk about
first time
Gaggan.
at a Michelin star restaurant.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Something high end like that. I'd never been to a place
Mhm.
like that before. And I had watched the Netflix episode, Chef's Table.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so cool about it is they feature the restaurant, but they tell his story as part of the restaurant.
Oh, very cool.
Well, and Gaggan is the #1 rated restaurant in Asia.
Yeah.
Really?
And I believe the number 5th or 6th restaurant in the world.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so we're talking the level of like Alinea or some of these others, and it was phenomenal. 25 courses.
Oh, my God.
But
it was like all like bite-sized courses, yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
some of it.
Yeah, it wasn't overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
and the menu was actually little emojis, right?
Yeah.
And so each,
That's awesome.
there I can't remember what was all on there, but it
Well,
was.
they don't
Did
even
they have
tell
like?
you.
Did they have like the chili with the wind gust after it? And then
No, but
fire.
there was an eggplant emoji, and I was not prepared for that.
That's funny because isn't that the one you asked for seconds on?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Gaggan was that was.
You come in, you sit down. There's an emoji menu that has no explanation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You're just
Yeah.
and it's rapid fire.
Really?
First 12, 13 courses is like one after the other.
And
Just
there was
hitting
one
you.
in particular. There was a plate they brought. Well, first of all, they brought out the speaker that was playing.
Oh
what?
yeah,
Lick It Up.
It's
That
Kiss.
one?
Seriously?
Is that Kiss? Okay.
Yeah, that's Kiss.
I wasn't allowed to listen to them as a young person, but
Yeah,
anyway,
not surprising.
yeah, and that's why I didn't watch Star Wars till I was
Yeah.
almost 40. But anyway, that's
Oh,
a
that's
whole nother
so
story.
sad.
So you-
I know that's called abuse.
The
But
waiter
anyway.
comes
Mhm.
by and places a speaker on your table and
Mhm.
presses play.
Yep.
And
and
you're
then
like,
the song starts cranking out.
you're like, what in the hell? And it's loud.
right? It's loud.
What is going on?
Right.
So you're laughing because you're like, this is just ridiculous. Like
Sure.
we're in a high-end Michelin star restaurant,
Listening to Kiss.
listening to Kiss.
Right.
And as you get closer to the chorus, which is "Lick It Up,"
Yeah, here, listen.
Lick It Up.
As I'm looking at Michael Zilke licking a plate.
Yeah.
So you're literally licking from the bottom.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 4 different flavors.
There's a sriracha flavor. There is a
Oh, wow.
what they call Indian foie gras, which you found out later was goat brain.
Ooh.
goat brain.
Yeah.
Isn't that usually goat liver or
Foie gras is usually
foie gras
liver,
is
but
liver, right?
It's
They could-
goat brain.
they'll turn it on its ear. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Okay.
You have like a citrus fruit flavor and then the green at the top.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But you're sitting there wondering what's going on. Right when the chorus hits of "Lick It Up," they put this plate down in front of you that says "Lick It Up."
Right. And so it's very playful.
It is.
It's
Oh,
not pretentious.
That's
Not at all.
awesome.
It's playful.
That's very
it's fun,
awesome.
because sometimes those restaurants, can be a bit intimidating.
Well, when I was there,
Yeah.
our last meal there, our because I went with
When you were
Kirsten
there in
for,
Thailand?
in Thailand,
Yeah.
yes. When we went for our honeymoon, our honeymoon meal was at the
Mhm.
Blue Elephant,
oh yeah, I know that restaurant.
which is fantastic. But
Yeah.
like we went in there, we were gonna go in for lunch, and they're like, "Oh, you can't wear shorts in here," and
yeah.
so they were gonna give us a sarong. We're like, "Look, we'll go shower and put on some proper clothes and come back."
Wear this dress, Ruben, and
Yeah.
you can eat our food.
Hey, you know what though? I was like in high school again, so I'm like, all right, whatever, bring it on. And my wife's like, we'll go and wash up and come back. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it was definitely one of those kind of. It was a classy ass joint too.
Yeah.
Like, definitely you needed to dress up to be in this
That is
place.
that is one of the top restaurants actually.
Yeah, it's
White House.
holy crap,
In
it was
Bangkok?
fantastic.
In
Yeah.
Bangkok,
Yeah, there's one in London, and I want to say that there's one in Singapore, but there are only 3 of them worldwide, and the food was excellent.
Yeah, this was great. But what was interesting was going from, we were eating the very first experience. So first of all, these guys, there was
So was this the first night?
No.
No.
So these guys, I went there to officiate
Officiate a wedding,
Yeah,
right.
So I was in Chiang Mai, flew to
Oh
Bangkok.
God, I love Chiang Mai so
Love
much.
it so much, yeah. Great place. And so anyway, I did did this wedding ceremony, went back down to Bangkok. 3 of these guys, they flew in, and they flew in, was like 11:30 in the morning when you got in.
Yeah.
And
Within
our-
an hour.
yeah, so our goal was keep them moving.
Oh yeah, you got to
Right.
keep awake until it's time
Keep
to go
them
to
awake.
bed.
So the very first thing we did was, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we got off the plane
Mhm.
and you're just
At that point, you're delirious because you've been in the air for 15,
Somewhat, yeah,
16
yeah,
You
hours.
walk out of the airport, you're hit with
this wave of heat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is like he described, you're immersed in this culture.
Right.
Then you're just getting a taste of it being in the airport, right? But from the airport to the shuttle, within an hour, we're in the middle of this neighborhood in Bangkok.
Mm-hmm.
Like a market, right?
Market.
Yeah.
Up and down the life is lived on the sidewalk and on the street, right?
Yeah. And
So
so we did street food tour,
Street food tour.
which was ridiculous.
So literally within an hour, you're in the middle of this neighborhood doing a street food tour, tasting all these things you've never tasted before,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by all these smells,
Mhm.
all these flavors and sights and sounds,
Yeah.
and it's truly immersive. Like
Yeah,
you're
you're
in
t-
the deep end.
You're tasting things flavors that maybe you've never tasted before.
Oh yeah.
And smells and textures.
Or food
and-
that's unrecognizable. You've never
Yeah.
seen it before.
Right.
Right.
And it
That's-
was amazing. It was all good.
Mm-hmm.
So we did not waste any time immersing
No.
you guys. So but that's the point, is getting immersed in this culture that is completely different, because that's where our eyes tend to open up the most, right? And
Yep. You're forced to.
you're forced to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it changes you, right? I want to hear, because I've been there 5 times, and I got to tell you, one of the greatest joys for me was watching these guys and their experience, and having the experiences I've had before. That in and of itself was an amazing experience.
Yeah, that's how I felt all those years that I led the trip to El Salvador. Is because you get to a point where you go there, it's awesome, it's old hat.
Right.
It fits like a glove. You've been there so often, you know the routine, you know how everything goes down, and you know the people, the places, the things.
Yeah.
But to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 7 people that went with you, they've never been there before. So it's just like, first you watch them crap their pants.
Yeah. That was the best part.
Oh man, that's always the best part. They're like, "What the? Huh?"
Which I didn't experience that until we got to Taiwan on the way back.
We'll get to that story.
Yeah.
I got to hear that one. So yeah, but it was definitely one of those where it's awesome to do it, but it's also awesome to experience it with someone else for their first time. It's kind of like raising kids. You get to experience the world through their eyes again for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if I was prepared. I had these ideals of what it was going to be.
You didn't prepare your heart before you left?
Yeah, I made sure that I did my devotions and all that good stuff. Fasted a few days. Prayed over the people on the plane and on my way to Bangkok, and was
People
sure
who
I
pray
was,
on planes really make me
Freak me
nervous,
out.
by the way. Yeah, it's like, wait, are you praying because you're feeling something right now? Like, oh, I have a need to pray. Or is that just a standard thing you do? Because if it's like, ooh, I have this sense that I need to pray, it's like, okay.
Or are you praying because maybe I'll finally see the fatherland? And the thing is, if they're praying and sweating, that's the ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, true.
side note, I was
Then
on
if
a
their
plane
underwear are smoking.
one time, and I'm having this anxiety of the plane crashing. The person I'm with is like, "Don't worry, if it's not your time, you're not going to go down." And I'm like, "What if it's his time?
Yeah, right.
God, please let him choke or have a heart attack or
right.
or
Do they
something."
have to go this way? Is there
Yes,
some other
exactly.
way they could go, right? Surely they could choke on those peanuts.
So back to what I was saying, I had these ideas in my head of what it was going to be like. I read about it, looked up pictures, watched videos, watched food YouTubers go to these locations we were going to be at. And it was completely disorienting, but in all the right ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, within an hour, we're going from this bus shuttle into this neighborhood, and we're completely immersed and surrounded by this Thai culture.
What's
it's
Carlos eating
everywhere.
today? What is
Everywhere.
he eating today?
And everything that we had was so good, man.
Mm-hmm.
We went from the food that we had at the best restaurant in Asia, to the food that we had in carts on the side of the road. It was all great.
Mm-hmm.
It was all good. And I think what happens is when you let go and you're not staying at a resort the whole time, and you're not taking shuttle bus from tourist spot to tourist spot, it forces you to let down your guard.
Mm-hmm.
And you just sort of accept, I'm surrounded by this, and I'm going to take as much in as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And there's something about that is so rich and valuable. And if you let it, something about that will change you. And I got to say, it was unlike any other country I've been to before. Because it is, like you mentioned earlier, Southeast Asia is just, gosh, unless you've been there, it's so hard to try and describe. But it's like Narnia. It's like stepping in past this closet, and all of a sudden you're in this completely different world. But the unique thing about it was there were strings of different things that I found familiarity in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kids was a big one. The kids there are similar to how kids would be here.
Sure.
You know, minus the Wi-Fi. I'm just joking. They have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
It's improved
Oh, has it?
a little bit.
Yeah, the hotel we
But
stayed at in Bangkok
the hearts
was
of people,
awful.
man. Like, they have an amazing entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm.
They can go to the market and buy food and open up a stall and sell it for more than they bought it for.
Right.
And sustain themselves and their neighborhood.
It's survivalism.
It is, but it's also the best thing that I could compare to get people to understand that would personify Thailand, or Bangkok, I should say, would be the traffic.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's insane.
Yeah, insane.
And it's everywhere.
Cars do not yield
No.
to
Mm-mm.
pedestrians.
No.
And the
Especially in
motorcycles
Bangkok.
and the scooters are on the sidewalks as
Oh,
you're
yeah.
trying to walk.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is it all works. It all flows. It's symbiotic.
Yeah, there's
And-
no horns. Did you notice that? There's
Right.
no honking.
Nobody's
No.
They're not
honking.
One thing I did notice being in Asia, and it's the traffic. Because if you're in Ho Chi Minh City in downtown Vietnam, like, it's an organism. Traffic
Mhm.
is a
Yeah.
living, breathing organism.
Yeah.
And I always like to liken it to, like, when you see the X-ray images of blood circulating through the veins and all the blood cells going through the veins,
Yeah.
and how it's absolutely the best way to completely describe
Yes.
the traffic situation in
That's a
Southeast
great way of
Asia.
saying it. Organized chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And my wife's father-in-law, or uncle, my wife's uncle, my wife's father-in-law is dead.
You'll get it. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
one of these days. But he was staying over there, and he's like, look, when you cross the street, make eye contact with the drivers.
Mhm.
That's the only way that they're going to see you. Otherwise, you just might as well just lay down in the middle of the street
Yeah.
and get run
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. It's actually amazing. I have never been hit by a car I've actually driven in Thailand.
I remember seeing the
Not
video
Bangkok.
of that.
Not Bangkok. I would not drive in Bangkok.
Which, by the way, if people don't know, it's on the opposite side of the road.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got confused by that. And they also don't, this is no, please, Thai friends, do not take offense at this, but they do not put forks in their mouths. They use spoons like we use forks. The
Really?
the fork is like the knife.
That's
why, and you really don't need knives in Thailand.
Interesting.
It's like most of the food is small pieces.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And one
Well-
thing I've noticed, too, despite it being Southeast Asia, no chopsticks. They don't use chopsticks in
Not
Thailand.
many,
We've had
no.
we
Just
had
a few.
some.
Some noodle, like if you're going to get noodle
Yeah.
soup or cow soy, that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
Praise to the cow soy. That's one of the, honestly, cow soy. Should I go there for a
Yeah,
minute?
yeah, absolutely. You
Cow
drive
soy.
this one.
Cow soy. My mouth is I'm literally salivating.
Nectar
right now.
of the gods.
It is amazing.
I don't
It
believe
is-
I've
it
ever
is-
had cow soy.
It is
I'll show you a
literally-
picture.
It is literally one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life.
Really?
And I got to tell you, when my family and I went to Thailand a few years ago, and we were in Chiang Mai for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and at least twice in those 2 weeks in Chiang Mai, I got up in the middle of the night and snuck out of our hotel room to go get cow soy. I am not even kidding.
Cow soy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so cow soy.
I got to
is
see if there's a place around here that will
It's-
make it if
there
you
is,
ask
there
for
is,
it.
actually.
Savory, spicy.
It's
Well, so
everything
it's
that
a
Thai
noodle-
food should be.
It's
Yeah.
a noodle dish, right? So it's actually, so I think it has its origins in Myanmar.
Okay.
And it is I'm gonna just to get it right. It's like egg noodles and this really rich coconut milky
Broth.
broth
Saucy
and,
thing.
And then they
It's not too thick, but it's not
No.
really thin either.
It's like a like it's curry coconut milk, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they top it with these crispy noodles.
Mm-hmm.
So you
And
get the
that's
soft
thin
noodles,
sliced beef. Oh.
And there's beef or chicken. Traditional, I think, is chicken, but you can get it in beef or whatever. I mean, I forgot, pork or something I saw.
They had,
At
like
that one
3 or 4
place.
different
Yeah.
places.
Anyway,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I'm
3 or 4
literally
different things.
How did I
Sorry.
miss cow soy?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I am certain that I would have told you have to eat cow soy.
Yeah.
It is literally one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life.
Interesting.
Besides,
Can we just end this right now and go get some cow soy?
Sure.
Chiang Mai sausage.
Chiang Mai sausage was
Oh
good.
my God, Chiang Mai sausage.
We got it at like this, like when we were in.
It was amazing.
When we were in Chiang Mai, we went to some little dive bar that had
Yeah.
Chiang Mai sausage, and I was like, "It's weird tasting. It's
Sour.
good. It's sour, but it's got like fishy bits in it, but it's meat. But there's like fish sauce in it as well. It's
I
just
don't
like
know
a
about
little.
the fish.
maybe they had, like-
it's fermented.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
that was it.
So it's fermented and it's fermented, so it's got a sour flavor. And then there's another
The Isan balls.
the Isan sausage.
Oh
which
my gosh.
is,
Those
so
were
Isan
amazing.
sausage actually has like clear glass noodles
Inside.
of the sausage. So yeah, you bite into it and you're like, what?
Weird.
Is this? And it's also fermented, so it's sour. And
Yeah, it's got that tart.
I mean, you gotta like
flavor.
it, but it is Chiang Mai sausage. I think the
Interesting.
food, and so a lot of people don't realize this. Thailand food is so diverse, right? So if you eat in Bangkok, you're gonna get in Bangkok the kind of Thai food you would get here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a little broader,
Right.
But you go up north in Chiang Mai, you're gonna get northern Thai food or Isan food, which is
Amazing.
It's the best. Oh, it's amazing. And what else is interesting is the further south you go in Thailand, the spicier the food gets.
Yeah.
So if you get down to because did you guys go to Koh Samui?
Yeah, we did go to
Yeah.
Koh
So
Samui.
you start getting down south a little bit, which that's not super south, but it's south.
South
of
enough.
Bangkok.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I'm like salivating. I feel like I need a pretzel or something.
Well,
yeah.
I'll interject really quick, just to kind of tie into my experience. Yes, for me too, definitely. Change of place, change of pace equals change of perspective.
Sure.
And there is something about traveling to another country that you maybe are completely unfamiliar with that does something in you.
Oh, yeah.
And what it does is for me, number one, it makes the problems that you have back home not seem as big.
Absolutely.
You know, number two, connects you to this broader humanity.
Yeah.
Where you realize that we are all connected
Yeah.
in different ways. And the third thing is it just opens your eyes to this idea, and Ruben, you've said this before, the people that have this mentality of, I was born on third, but I hit a triple.
Yep.
You know, and you learn to appreciate and ask those questions. Well, wait, was I really born on third? I mean, is this third base?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm experiencing over here is just sort of mind blowing.
Right.
And it puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
And gives balance, but in such a good, deep way.
Well, that whole, you were born on third base, think you hit a triple, it kind of resonates to what's going on here in the States right now. It's more like, well, we were born on this here piece of rock, and this piece of rock is the best piece of rock ever. Is it really, though? I mean, I've been to some pretty awesome places that may or may not be awesomer than the United States because of X, Y, and Z, but it's like, don't get me wrong. I love my country. I am thankful that I was born here because I could have been born in a really shitty place, elsewhere where horrible things happen to people every day. But, it's getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of your country and your space. I know people that haven't even left the city,
Yeah.
and they think that we got the best in the world. We're awesome here.
Right.
Are you, though? Are you really? I think it should be mandatory that everybody should have to leave the country for at least 2 weeks, at least once in their life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for the record, because I've heard this before my trip and after my trip, Thailand is not a third world country, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not wake up in a bathtub full of ice with my kidney missing.
You did wake up in a brothel, though, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you?
We're not supposed to talk about that,
shoot.
Ruben.
Sorry.
God.
Well, it was Mark Twain. He said travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry,
Absolutely.
and narrow-mindedness, right?
I love
Yes,
that.
And
absolutely.
that is what happens, I think. It broadens your view, and, it also causes you to, when you walk, I remember being in Uganda and spending time among some of the poorest people I've ever been around, yet there was a sense of community,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and these children were laughing. None of them were complaining that they couldn't play Fortnite. None of them were complaining that.
I remember when a fortnight meant
Internet
2 weeks.
slow, Fortnite.
Yeah, but okay, so they have nothing. We have everything, and yet we complain a heck of a lot more.
Oh, God,
right?
yeah.
And I don't get me wrong. Look, I'm glad. I am also thankful that I was born where I was, and that I have what I have in my life. But I think at the very least, what traveling does is it opens you up, and it helps you to see that we are very different, but we're very much the same.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
One of the highlights I think we should mention is some of the people we met there. There were some.
That had a huge impact on me as
Yeah.
much as the culture and the food and art.
Well, yeah, because it's one thing to walk around and see the things and eat the
Right.
food that the people eat. It's another thing to actually sit down and have a conversation with people.
And eat with people, break bread, and listen
Yeah.
to their stories and learn from them.
Well, and that was part of another thing that I think makes this kind of trip unique is one, we're getting off the beaten path, right? We're off or on.
Off.
Off the beaten path.
Yeah, if you're on the beaten path,
that's
you're
right.
just
Yeah,
going down
okay.
Main
All
Street.
right. Yeah, so we're going places that most tourists would never ever go to,
Mhm.
right? But we're meeting people who are on the ground, artists, activists, entrepreneurs, and we met some incredible people, and it was so inspiring
That are doing some
to hear their
amazing
story.
things.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, maybe we can. There were a couple people. I think of Kalang and you, right? Who they help at-risk children. I mean, these guys had
From
nothing.
Myanmar?
From Myanmar,
Yeah, the refugee
Thailand.
children.
Yeah. It's the Karen. I think it's called Karen ethnicity, right? So it's a large number of people who are displaced at the border, and they are two young guys who saw a need and real young. Yeah. I mean, they had nothing. I mean,
Really?
I remember a few years ago being there and talking to Kalang, and he's like, I have this idea of something I want to do, and now to see how this thing has grown. We met Christy, her and her husband Dwight started this thing called Courageous Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a cooking school, cooking class. Like they offer cooking classes, street food tours, and they work with marginalized youth in Bangkok to provide cooking skills and. Can I give their website?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I have it here. Let's see.
And if you write it down for me, I'll put it in the show notes as well.
They also work with residents from different countries that are trying to integrate and be a part of the culture there.
That's right. CourageousKitchen.org. And then how about the guy? Holy smokes,
Michael.
I
Education for Life.
I cannot say his last name for the life of me, but this guy. So this guy's visiting a village up in northern Thailand back in I think it was '96, and
like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and he visits a teacher friend of his who tells him about this child trafficking that's going on in this village, and he literally, as he's there, witnesses 12 young girls packing their belongings and getting in a van with these men, and they head off to Bangkok, and he saw this happening, and he's like, I'm going to follow them, and he literally, I forgot how many hours
to see their aunt and their uncle,
to see their quote aunt, and quote,
yeah, because 12 young girls are all related to the same person,
right. So he follows this van all the way to Bangkok, and when he gets there, he contacts the authorities while on his way, and discovers that the system. Because the parents were saying, yes, we let them go, and the girls are calling them aunt and uncle or whatever, the authorities can do nothing.
Which is kind of hard to believe that the parents would be on board with this.
But do the parents know what's going on, or did they sell them into it?
Probably a little of both.
Little column A, little column B.
They probably know more than they would let
on.
And there's a livelihood to it that.
But their situations are so desperate.
Yeah.
I'm not
Comes back.
by any means.
No.
But I mean, it was. So he ended up starting this organization. What was it? Education for Life.
Education for Life.
ELF.Thai.
He used the same loopholes that these traffickers were using.
Yes.
To keep these girls from being taken into Bangkok.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so seeing these people who. They because I think a lot of times we have these ideas and these grand visions of wanting to make a difference, but we feel like we have to wait until we have all of our stuff lined up, and we wait till we have the right tools or the right, whatever, certificates and all that stuff, right? But these are people who just started with what they had. They took a look at this, said, what's in our hands now, and what can we do? Like, we get stuck.
And that's amazing, because that kind of thing makes a lot more sense to me than going to an orphanage that you paint something that the last group just got done painting.
Sure.
Which I've seen that. I've been in part of that type of thing.
Sure.
And,
sure.
After 3 years of painting the same dormitory, you're like, are we really doing anything here?
Right. Or why not, use that money to hire people locally who are actually in need to do the work?
Right. Instead of like seeing where there is a need and actually filling the need. That guy, what his name was?
Michael.
Yeah. That sounds rad. Like he took his life into his hands by going that way too.
Seriously.
Because I know those, not personally, but those type of people that are about to recruit and kidnap young girls into the sex trade, they're not the type to be trifled with.
Yeah, you don't really want to put a giant yellow flag out your window and say,
and on top of that, he also was at the helm of providing these water filtration systems.
Oh, right.
For these school kids that were basically getting water from a well that was pumped into the school.
Yeah.
That was full of all sorts of bad stuff. took samples, took it to a lab, got people on board to change it, and
Wow.
brought this change that
Yeah.
is going to be there for a really long time.
and now hipsters are drinking that, calling it raw water.
Right. Yeah.
Get
And
dysentery, you
what's
dicks.
unique, the guys from Help Live, these are the guys that started that coffee
right.
shop. They started with a side cart and one espresso machine outside of a restaurant because they got permission from the restaurant owner to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea was we're going to provide 1 meal a day for each kid.
That's right.
And since then, they've gotten several brick and mortar locations. They've gotten other businesses that have partnered with them to help as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're up to 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
They've
how
got
many do you remember how many kids it was?
60,
Yeah, it was
Wow.
actually 60 something. Every day there are 60 kids
Yeah.
that are eating
3 meals a
because of these
day,
guys.
a dormitory,
Yeah,
a school.
that's right.
Like, it's insane. And
How did you guys get hooked up with these people that...
Well, so these
I know
are
you've got connections for going there
yes,
several times,
Yeah, these
but...
are people I met a few years ago and on one of my trips, and just have stayed in contact. And Mac, the guy that was helping us with the trip and kind of organizing everything, he's been connected with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
We met. We should mention too, Mark Falcione.
From Daniel Thaiger.
Daniel Thaiger. It's actually, it sounds like Tiger, Tiger, but it's actually TH. Is it IAGER?
THAI.
AI. So he started
TER.
a food truck. He was one of the first food truck guys. He's from U.S.
Mhm.
From California.
Yeah.
Started a. He got there and said, you know what? There's no burgers here. Like you can't get
Good
burgers.
quality burgers.
Yeah. He said, so I'm gonna. I know I could do this. It was one of those ideas he had that he said, I know if I can do this, I can do it well,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it'll work.
Yeah.
And, granted, he took some big risks, has experienced some
Ran out of
failures,
money on the
ran out
very
of
first
money.
day of
Really?
opening up the food truck.
Right.
No money. It ran out.
Made burgers and made enough then to open up the next day.
Right.
Right. And the food truck, it's not like food truck like we think here.
There was no
This-
food trucks
They
there.
didn't even have them in time. Yeah.
Really? It
So
wasn't a thing?
now it is.
Now,
it's
yeah.
crazy now.
Wow.
Right. But he was one of the first food trucks in Bangkok
Mhm.
and in Thailand. And yeah, so it's cool. And now he's making amazing burgers. But it was really inspiring to hear his story.
It is. I mean, it's easy to. So I walked away from all these people on different questions, hearing their stories. It's easy to go along the route of, well, what have you done?
Right.
Comparing yourself to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you hear their stories and you see what they've done. And instead of saying, what have you done? You walk away saying, what do I want to do?
Right.
Yeah.
These guys had almost nothing. They're working with one espresso machine,
Mm-hmm.
standing on a sidewalk, selling coffee. And they had this idea and this thing in their heart that they wanted to do, and they just did it.
Right. It kind of
It's inspiring, man.
It is, and it removes all the excuses. Really,
It does,
It's
yeah.
Like the excuses we have for not doing things is
Right.
ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're surrounded with so many resources
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that all it takes is you saying, okay, what's the first step?
Mhm.
What can I do
Right.
right now with what's in front of me?
Yeah, it really sends that message of you know what, you don't have to have a whole lot
Mhm.
to make a difference.
Right.
Like anybody can make a difference, and it really doesn't take that much.
And Ruben, these burgers were amazing.
Really?
No, seriously, probably better than most.
I'm gonna
of the
show
burgers
you
I've
a
ever
picture
had.
of it.
Well, for one, it's probably all grass-fed beef because there's no
yeah.
real crappy the chemicals
Yeah.
and stuff
well,
that they
these
get
are
away
from,
with
were they
here.
from Australia? These
Yeah.
patties.
So
right?
you get
Never
the Steve
frozen?
Burger, the Cowboy. If you swipe to the left, you'll see what they look like.
Yeah, I don't even want
Dang.
to look. I don't even want to look at the photo.
Not only that, like he just Mark, the guy of Daniel Thaiger, he had a specific roll for the burger
Mm-hmm.
that was never made before in Thailand.
With the brioche bun.
Yeah, like he worked with a local baker.
Yeah.
Taught them how to
And
make it. That's awesome.
Basically went through a process
Whoa.
of
A salmon burger?
going on and on
That's
and on until they
ridiculous.
reached exactly
Yeah.
what would work.
It's
Dude, they
really
got Wagyu beef?
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they feed those guys nothing but oats and beer. Wagyu cows?
Really?
Yeah, that's their
They
diet
mas-
is
they
oats and
massage 'em,
beers.
don't they?
Yeah, and they get massages and all kinds of stuff.
Kind of makes me wish I was one of those.
I know, right? Those
Wagyu
are the
cows.
luckiest cows ever. But the funny thing is, it's like Wagyu is going to end up being like Angus was. Remember when Angus first came out?
Yeah,
Ooh, it's
yeah.
Angus beef. Well, soon everybody's going to be Wagyu. And the cows aren't up, they don't move around a lot. They just kind of stand there.
Right.
So there's a high fat content in the beef, which makes it delicious.
Well, and what you get here that's called Wagyu is not the same.
Depending on where you get it from.
Right.
If you get it from a true butcher that can import it, yes.
Well, true. Yeah. I actually had, when I was in Tokyo one time, I had Wagyu. Or what's the other one? It starts with a K.
Kobe?
Kobe.
I think it was Kobe. Oh, my Lord. It was like melt in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible.
Wait, you had that in Tokyo, you said?
In Tokyo.
No, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry.
So I mean, we if you
As he says for the 7th time.
to put it into perspective, like there's some times where you're like, I don't know, should I start this Facebook page? I really had this idea that I think would work and people would gravitate around. And then you've got a guy that moves with all of his money and family from LA into Bangkok with this idea that he thinks will work.
Right.
Like that's
got to be a lot of faith from his family too, to be like, okay, if you think you can do it, let's do it. I can't even get my wife to move to Florida. And that's not even that far away.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Wow. So what else did you guys do?
Oh, we did some fun stuff. Dude,
even the stuff that you just talked about sounded fun.
That was awesome. We walked a lot.
A lot.
Really?
I mean, there were some days we walked over 10 miles.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the best part about it too. Is like if
is
you're
it? I'm just joking.
Dude, honestly though, I when we went, like I just loved walking around and just soaking everything up. I think we took the elevated train once in downtown Bangkok.
Oh, the BTS.
Yeah. And let me tell you,
such a great way to get around.
Oh my gosh,
That's a picture of Mark, by the way, from
the guy in the
Daniel
middle?
Thaiger. Yeah.
Right on. But yeah, like if you've been on the L in Chicago, like you may have noticed a hobo had defecated in one of the seats. That actually happened. I was on the train riding home from a Pearl Jam concert one time, and I was like, ooh, the front seat's totally not taken. I walked up, and I turned around and walked away because there was a big old piece of poo.
What is that, a Butterfinger?
Yeah, dude, seriously, it was worse than a Butterfinger. It was like a butter pie. But when you go to, like, Thailand and you get into Bangkok and you take their rapid transit, it is sparkling clean.
Oh, so clean.
So
and
incredibly
people are so
clean.
Polite,
yeah.
And it's so quiet.
Yeah.
The only people yapping their mouths off
are the dumb
on the
Americans.
BTS are the Westerners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a bunch of stuff. We visited a bunch of temples. So when we started in Bangkok.
The temples are wonderful.
Flew to Chiang Rai. And in Chiang Rai there are 3 temples we visited. There is the
Black House.
The Black Temple, yep.
That one sounds so
temple.
Metal.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. And it kind of
it is actually.
It's a Metallica soundtrack in the background would actually fit. Well, no, the white one's pretty. It's
the white one's pretty.
The white one's almost darker than the black one, right?
And you would expect the opposite. You think white life.
Yeah, if you're
black,
near computers, you're listening to this, you should Google White Temple, Thailand, and then type in Black Temple, and then there's the newer one, which is the Blue Temple, which was extraordinary.
Oh my gosh! We go around the corner, and this whole courtyard and this temple just opens up, and at least 2 or 3 of us were like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, it's breathtaking, honestly.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
At the entrance of this temple are these statues that are like 150 feet tall.
Just big Buddha statues.
Just big. It almost had like a nautical theme, didn't it?
Yeah,
with water.
Some of these temples have more of like
they got like Aquaman standing out front,
or like this guy right here.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. It looks like the underwater. I got to be careful what I say, or I don't want to offend anyone, but it's the underwater.
It's like aquatic type.
There was an kind of an aquatic theme.
The Pop Goulash audience has a thick skin.
Okay, good. So we did. I can't seem to say anything without getting criticized these days. You
know
how it is, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So so the temples were great. Oh, we did ziplining on top of the rainforest in Chiang Mai.
Oh, very cool.
Did you guys do that?
No, we did not. We went mountain biking.
I was for sure I was going to die, by the way.
Now, you want to talk about sharding. Why don't we talk about this?
Yes. So I'm reading up on this place before we're going, and I'm like seeing the weight limit, and I'm like, I am over the weight limit for sure, and I don't even know if they're going to let me go on. So we get there. It's like a 45-minute bus drive from Chiang Mai into the rainforest.
Sure.
And they had me step on a scale, and sure enough, I'm about 2 or 3 pounds over the weight limit.
Did you take a dump and you were fine?
I should have, but no.
That's how we used to do it when I was in wrestling.
I reserved that for the first zip line.
No, but somebody else did right beforehand.
They did, actually. So, at any rate, they're like, okay, listen, here's what we'll do. We'll let you go on, But if anyone asks, this is how much you weigh. And I'm like, that is unsettling as hell. But I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And what did they say to you?
As far as what?
What did they? Didn't they say, like, if something happens,
Oh, yeah.
let them know that you're actually at the right weight.
Right, exactly.
For this, right?
All these
Like,
disclaimers.
wait a minute, if something happens,
So we get up to this first platform, which you have to take about a 40-minute hike up into the mountains.
maybe 20.
Felt like 40.
How are the mosquitoes?
Not bad.
Not bad.
There were a few.
There's a few points on that trail where you look over and it's a pretty good drop.
Oh yeah.
And you've got a person on a motorcycle coming down the trail that you have to move around for.
Right.
You get up to this first platform, and you can't see the other side. It's like an 800-meter
800
line.
feet or meters?
I think meters.
Okay.
It felt like meters,
It
which
was
was a
the
mile.
longest one.
Yeah.
Now, when I went before, that was not the first one.
No.
But yeah, that was it. We actually have a video clip. I don't know if we
Of
can post
Alex
it.
on the zip
Oh, we
line,
have
yeah.
that too. But I have a video clip of that we could maybe.
I think
Yeah.
I actually saw one you posted
On Facebook, yeah.
Facebook, yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
posted one
Yeah.
on Facebook. Yeah, it looked like you were having
So I get up
yeah.
and I'm nervous and I'm like, listen, are you sure this harness is going to hold me? Oh, yeah, it's good. It's made in China. You're fine. You're fine. So we get on, and I had Michael go before me, and we're taking a picture right now. So I had Michael go before me, and he's
so that you could see him die.
yes, he's
Right.
a pretty good big guy.
Yeah, it's like skydiving, right?
So you step off this platform, and I think for the first 10 seconds I'm screaming,
Maybe 30.
and then
I'm pretty sure you were screaming the entire way.
you heard me laugh.
You did scream the whole way.
There was a little
like
laugh.
a little
A
girl.
little bit of
It was
laughter.
like a laugh, like, "Oh, I'm alive."
That's what it was. I had trouble placing my finger on it, but yes, I was overjoyed at the fact that I didn't plummet to my death.
You know the way you laugh when
Yeah.
you realize you're still alive. That kind of laugh.
And I'm coming in hot, man, towards these two small, skinny Thai guys that are supposed to catch me. And I had this fear on my face again of, oh God, they're not going to catch me. And ended up landing into the back of this net, and
Yeah.
everything was fine.
And Carlos, you looked terrified when you. I mean, to the degree that you looked so disoriented when you got up on that platform, when you landed on the platform.
Yeah.
You were like wobbling around, like trying to make sense of what just happened.
Trying to hold on to something.
Yeah, and but you were like, you could tell you were like, you know how when children when they're little, like they kind of cry and then sometimes they'll start to laugh and then cry again.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what Carlos was doing. It was like, oh, oh, and but you know what? Then we had fun
Like,
because
am
everybody.
I alive? I'm still
Yeah.
alive?
I mean, even and I've done this before, but after that first one, I was like feeling it.
I know we're in the middle of the jungle, but is it okay if I just toss my underwear to the side?
Yeah.
We had one guy that peed his pants, actually,
Really?
in
didn't know
the
that.
group before us.
Oh, not of your
I
group.
didn't know about that.
Yeah.
No.
That's funny.
You don't want to be down from him when he's rappelling.
No.
So that was fun.
It was amazing. Another thing that was really, really cool, we took the BTS to the end of the line.
Mm-hmm.
We took another tuk-tuk into Chinatown.
I miss tuk-tuks.
Visited this really cool temple.
So just so everybody out there who they
Yeah.
don't know, a tuk-tuk is usually a motor-driven taxi with like a cart in the back where you sit inside.
Yeah.
But it's bothering me that you guys are saying tuk-tuk because I think it's actually
Tuk-tuk.
tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuk. But in Vietnam, it's actually tuk-tuk.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
tuk-tuk.
All right.
And it's something
Yeah.
else
I was
in Haiti,
speaking
I can't
in the
remember.
Vietnam inflection.
He was speaking
Sorry,
in
I was thinking
Vietnamese.
about the time I was in Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Couldn't you tell by his 1,000-yard stare?
Anyway, we go into Chinatown, and you've ever seen those
I've
movies?
been to Chinatown in Bangkok. It's wonderful.
You've seen those
It's
movies
cool.
where they've got all these stalls, and it's like a labyrinth that
Yep.
you're walking through corridors. We probably walked for a mile through all these different turns and corridors. Opens up into Little India. we go there. We walk a lot more in through this neighborhood.
Had some amazing samosas.
Down,
Samosas.
amazing samosas. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We walk down this.
So I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but
Go ahead.
the samosas, they were Indian, but they have like a Thai flair to them.
No.
they were,
Really?
They were totally Indian.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You feel like
Ooh.
I've never been to India, but it feels like you're in India when you're in
I love
Little
me
India.
some samosas.
And we get through there. We go down this neighborhood. We go down this alley. And at the very end of this alley, in the middle of this neighborhood that you would probably never ever find anywhere else, is this amazing bar that was small, but it was so cool. Like,
Mhm.
It was like walking into a hipster bar in
Yes.
Brooklyn, but it was the Thai version of that. Right?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it was not like a Thai place that's like, we're going to attempt to make Manhattans and they're going to turn out to be awful.
Yeah.
The menu was, everything was Thai related. I mean, all the drinks were Thai, made with
Mhm.
Thai ingredients. And I mean, even oh my gosh, that appetizer was disgusting.
the silkworms.
Silkworms.
Oh, I
No.
totally would have eaten it.
Oh, you know what?
It
Those
was
are
good.
Horrible.
It was
texture.
just me and
They're
Mac
not
that was
crispy.
eating those.
They are
Really?
they're like you bite into them and it releases a juice.
It's like a elegant soft fingernail
Oh God,
filled
no.
with juice.
Ew.
Yeah, a fingernail filled with some. Yeah, no thanks.
But it was the
Jizzy.
whole feel of the bar is like
Jizzy silkworm.
oh God, they're not bad. The whole feel of the bar is
I'll say it for you. Even
no
if
wonder
you feel
you
you
liked
can't.
them.
yeah. Fuck you,
Salute.
sir. Fuck you too.
This won't be promoted on the Orchards page.
No, but the whole feel of the bar was like, this is who we are. If you don't like it, too damn bad.
Yeah, it was super.
That's cool.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was super cool. Yeah, I mean that's a gentrified. That area is becoming gentrified. So,
So
you get-
gentrification isn't exclusive to the United States.
No, not at all. Well, because you can get, Chinatown, it's like you can probably get in there pretty cheap. So there's all these art galleries and
Okay.
bars and
So it's
pubs
like a
and-
little
and
mini Soho
it's-
kinda?
it's- Kinda, yeah. More like Brooklyn, honestly. It feels like Brooklyn to me, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
I've never been there, but I
I've
would
never
imagine
been there either, but I can imagine.
That's how it feels
Sure.
like.
Should we talk about Taipei real quick?
Taipei was
Or are we not done with Thai? I don't want to
Well,
jump
one
to
thing
another
one
Asian
last thing I
country.
want to say about Thailand is this: when we went to Gaggan,
One other thing I want to say about Thailand.
and I'm not joking.
Thailand.
I'm not joking about this. When we went to Gaggan,
Yeah.
they brought out this plate that was like Dark
yeah.
Side of the Moon.
Yeah, I
Pink
saw that
Floyd.
picture on Facebook or Instagram. It was dope.
I don't know what it was, but being in that place and being surrounded by all these flavors I've never tasted before,
Mhm.
everything is intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun, and it's just this 3-4 hour experience that I've never done before. When they brought out that plate, man, I had to wipe tears away from my eyes.
Really?
There was
He's
something
not lying.
so beautiful about the presentation
Mm-hmm.
that it just overwhelmed me, man.
They'd have put a dick on a plate, and you'd have been like, "Oh my god, it's so wonderful! Can I have seconds?"
Wow. All right. Well, on that note, let's talk about Taiwan.
Well, hold on a minute. I think there's one thing that we're forgetting, and that is when we were walking. We went out for Middle Eastern food.
Oh,
one
tell
night.
me, Carlos got hit on by a lady boy. Please tell me Carlos got hit on by a
No,
lady
but
boy.
our host really took a liking to me at Gaggan.
Oh, the
And
host.
because
Yeah,
of that,
he
we got
did.
to meet Chef.
Oh,
We did.
really?
We met.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Gaggan.
That's his last name. Or
Dude, you
first name?
met the
last name.
proprietor of the
Yeah.
restaurant?
Yes.
He was. Yeah.
That is dope.
He
We
came
have a
out.
photo.
He took a picture with us.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Nice.
And so we were walking. This is another evening. We're walking. We just had Middle Eastern food, and
Oh,
there was
great Lebanese food.
It was.
Oh my
That's right. It
gosh.
was Lebanese. Lebanese was the best. I think. Middle
there
Eastern food
used to
you can
be
get.
a place on 34, right before you got into Oswego,
Uh-huh.
that was a Lebanese restaurant.
The
Really?
pita, the
Really?
pita
Yeah.
was so good there. That first one that
Oh
came
my
out.
God. That was unlike any. Although, hey, I gotta say, I was at Caputo's, and they have those there. The big pitas,
The
real
big
thin-
urns, ovens.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're not as good as these. They were amazing. But anyway, we went out for Middle Eastern food, and then we went walking, and there was a Turkish ice cream guy.
Well, we saw
Ooh.
at the Lebanese restaurant. We saw the owner berate one of the waitresses in front of us.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's never.
That kind of gave
That's
it more
not
of an
cool.
authentic feel.
Yeah, that did feel. Yeah,
Sadly,
felt
tipping is
something.
not necessarily an international thing, or you'd slip her an extra couple.
Tipping is not a thing in Thailand.
No, not at all.
Unless
almo-
it's like
actually
service
it's almost
oriented.
insulting. Yeah.
Right.
Well, there was a Facebook video that was going around for a minute last week about how
see that?
that I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but
Very interesting.
that the tipping is based in early American racism.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find that, and I will send it to you.
Yeah.
You can post it in your notes.
Sure.
It's very interesting.
So yeah, this is a fun story.
Okay,
coming
so
up.
the Turkish. Okay, so I've seen, and I've actually been to Istanbul in Turkey, and
Not Constantinople.
right, and I've seen. So I've seen these Turkish ice cream guys that really mess around with you, and and I saw a guy. We were walking, and there's a Turkish ice cream guy, and I'm like, "Hey, Carlos, want some ice cream?"
And
Carlos,
I'm like,
of course, was
"Oh,
like, heck yeah, I would."
Heck yeah, some ice
And
cream. Why
it
not?
Was the whole like this guy, and he had no idea what was about to happen to him. And
I saw the video on that.
oh, it was amazing. Like if you're near a computer, go to YouTube and just type in Turkish ice cream guy and watch. This is exactly
Right.
what happened to him, and it was the best because Carlos started getting kind of pissed at this guy. He was like, "What am I, a monkey?"
I was hot. I just wanted my ice cream.
Just give me my damned ice cream. That's all I want.
I mean, literally, the guy like.
I look over and you guys are recording, and I'm like,
You're gonna
why
give
are
me
they
nothing
recording
in a
right
cone.
now?
It's gonna be melty.
I'm embarrassed. They're recording. I'm like, what is going on?
Without a doubt, one of the highlights of this trip for sure. It was incredible.
And then about 3/4 of the way, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Jokes
I'm
on
gonna get
me.
it eventually.
Ha, ha, very funny.
The one point, which was the tipping point, almost was he's like, take a lick, and he goes and puts it in my mouth, and I go to lick, and he hits my nose with his finger.
Dude, the look on your face was like, what the frick? Like, I am going to punch you in the nose.
I am someone's monkey doing tricks, and I just want my reward. You know. But when I got it,
Probably the most amazing ice
it
cream.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Ice cream was all
Actually,
right.
the ice cream was not good.
Really?
Felt like eating
It was
glue.
weird. Yeah,
almost.
yeah, it did. It did. The texture was awful.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe like
It's like a
durian was.
Believe me, that's not what I paid for.
It's like a cement mixer at
Thank you.
Sonic. Oh.
I don't even think you realized how intentional that was until later.
I'm like, why don't these other guys want ice cream? Hell yeah, I want some ice cream.
Yeah.
They were probably planning it. Scott was like, all right, I'm going to tell Carlos he
It was-
I didn't
wants
even know
some ice
those
cream.
guys existed in Thailand. I didn't know they had Thai or
What?
Turkey.
Turkish?
It was a very crazy part of town. It was the red light district, which is where you're walking through,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and it's crazy because
It
you're
is
walking
crazy.
down the
Oh,
sidewalk, jewelry on one side, T-shirts, kids' toys right next to the kids' toys,
Prostitutes.
dildos, adult toys, like
Yeah.
all different types, and you're like, where am I?
Strap-ons, all like.
Yes, exactly. And then in the middle of all that,
I mean, I think that's what those are.
I got like 15 things run through my head.
Right.
I'm like, Amanda's probably going to hear this. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not
No.
going to say it.
and they're actually they're well priced, I would say, compared to what you have to pay for them here in the U.S.
Were they used? Never buy secondhand sex toys, my friend.
Anyway, in the middle of all that craziness is this guy. I don't know if he was actually Turkish,
Keep
but
going,
he's
keep going.
selling ice cream, and it was like an oasis in the middle of this crazy desert.
Carlos needed to be cooled down. That's why
I did. Oh
he
my
was so open to the ice cream
gosh.
thing.
If I was on my own, get another suitcase.
So did you guys spend a majority of the time in Bangkok, or did you go?
3 days.
We were in 3 places. We went to. I got to turn the air conditioning down.
One night in Bangkok.
Makes a
We
proud
went to
man
Bangkok,
humble.
Then we flew to Chiang Rai,
Okay.
which is where that soccer team was at, and
And-
actually that was all happening while
While you were there, yeah.
And by the way, it's an hour flight, and they give you a meal.
A full-on meal. You flew Air Thailand.
We
Thai
flew-
Lion?
No, was it? I don't.
It was
remember.
Thai
I flew-
Lion, yeah.
Either way, the Thai Airlines, they give you like a full-on meal. Like, it's so
It
rad.
was Thai Airways, I think, wasn't it?
Was it?
Or that was maybe.
That was
before
on the
you
way
guys got
back.
there.
But
don't
all
remember.
I know is I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I don't want food.
Yeah.
But it was
So-
like, yeah, full on meal.
So we flew to Chiang Rai, visited temples, and then did we eat blood soup? Didn't we eat blood soup, or did we not? Or no, we did not. So there's a blood soup that's popular in northern Thailand that is actually made with raw. I mean, oftentimes they will take blood and put it into hot soup and it cooks in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is actually bright red,
Fresh?
cold raw blood that tastes very irony and
Yeah. It smells like pennies.
disgusting, I think. We didn't order it.
No.
But they had it at this place. And anyway, so then we visited these temples and then we drove to Chiang Mai, which the drive from Chiang Rai to Chiang Mai is absolutely beautiful because you're driving through the mountains and the forest.
There was one point where we stopped about a halfway point at this campground in the middle of nowhere. And we get out, walk around. There's this river going through.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
You look over, there's a little kid naked playing in the river.
As there are.
You know, just chilling.
Just like here.
And, yeah, exactly. But it was on the way from Chiang Rai to Chiang Mai, there's this huge Buddha statue, right?
Oh, gigantic.
I didn't see. I was asleep.
You look up in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for waking me up for that, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's a giant Buddha statue. I mean, that's the thing. Like you're going through this rainforest and you look off in the distance and there's like, hey, there's a 100-foot, 300-foot. I don't know. I'm really bad with that stuff. Giant Buddha up on the top of that mountain. And if we had been driving ourselves, which we weren't at that time, but if we were, we would have driven up there.
And that driver was not shy about getting there quick.
No, that's just how it is, man.
Yeah, they drive insane.
Yeah,
It's just
listen.
nuts.
We had to do a border run when I was there. Our passports were running out of, our visa was running out of time, and so we had to get it renewed. So we did the 3-hour jaunt over to Myanmar, that was interesting. But yeah, I mean, talking about fast driving, we were all like green and about to throw up all over each other, and yeah.
See, I told you should have gone to Vietnam.
I would love to. I've not been to Vietnam.
That'd be cool. Go to Laos, Vietnam.
Would love to
go through all
that.
those.
Yeah, Cambodia.
Dope.
Yeah.
Cambodia is dope.
So
Yeah.
Chiang Mai was a completely different feeling to it.
Well, yeah, there's 2 cities in one.
Say about
It's like the cultural hub.
about
of
10,
Thailand.
15 degrees cooler. Like, it was nice.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's north.
In
It's
Chiang
in the
Mai.
mountains. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
It's just a cool. You've been there. It's
Yeah.
just a cool city, man.
Yeah, that's where we went mountain biking because the hotel we stayed at was called the North Star, I believe. And it was interesting because they had a saltwater pool.
Yeah, a lot of them do there.
And
Yeah.
as
Ours did
the
too, actually. Yeah.
as the 3 or 4 days that we were there, I think we were maybe there for 4 or 5 days because we were over there for a total of 2 weeks. And as we stayed there, the water got slightly more and more green with algae as the time progressed. I mean, it was still safe to swim in, but it was just that the salt filter was not clearing the algae
Just don't
fast enough.
drink it.
Yeah, you don't want to put that in
Yeah.
your mouth. But that in the lobby of the hotel, they had like a big board behind like their tour agent, and there were all these activities you could do, and that's where we went mountain biking. They picked us up in a truck, took us to this place where this British and American expat owned a bike shop. And then they hopped you into these like minibuses, took you up to the top of the mountain, and they're like, "All right, here's your guide, go."
No brakes.
Yeah, well, there were brakes, but one guy actually did fall off his bike during the trip and dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Kirsten fell off her bike and got a pretty bad bruise on her bum. I scraped my shoulder up pretty bad by.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we'll
they're.
have to try that next time.
You know what though? I mean,
Is
despite
this harness
that,
going to hold me?
despite all that, I mean,
It's
it was
made in China. You're fine.
yeah.
It's actually more dangerous to ride on a freaking bike than it
But
is
you know what though? I mean, and we went down the bunny hill, and it wasn't. You know, it sounds horrible, but like if you're able to control the bike, like it wasn't bad. It was wonderful. Like there were times we would stop and you're on top of this mountain, and you could just see for miles around, and it was just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So lush.
Yeah. And then one of the other days we were there, we actually booked a trip to take a. They picked us up in one of those open top pickup trucks, and we all rode in the back.
Yeah.
And we stopped at one of the markets, and they took us on a tour around the market, like, oh, this is this, and this is that, and this is that here. And then after that, they took us to an organic farm where they made where they grew their aubergines and their vegetables and their peppers and all that stuff. And they taught us how to make a 5-course meal.
Wow, nice. You did a cooking class.
Yeah, we took a
That's
cooking
cool.
class.
Yeah,
it was
we did a cooking
rad.
class too.
Yeah. And like it was a 5-course meal. By the time you got to like, because it was like tom kha, and then you got to make the spring rolls with the rice paper.
Oh yeah,
spring rolls. And then there was like the pad
papaya
thai
salad. Did you make papaya salad?
We did not make papaya salad.
That was
which
so
was
good.
so sad because I love papaya salad.
Yeah.
I don't like ripe papayas. Ripe papayas taste like ass to me. Green papayas that they make the papaya salad out of, I love green papaya salad. But by the third course, we're just like, I can't eat anymore. So we had to like cook this stuff and bring it back to the hotel because we just couldn't eat anymore.
Mango and sticky rice.
Well, we made a mango and sticky rice.
We had a lot
Yeah,
of that
dude.
actually.
How about the ice cream?
Coconut
The
ice cream was amazing.
For sure.
We had coconut ice cream with black rice,
Ooh.
and that was off the charts.
Yeah.
That was at the Blue Temple actually.
Yes,
Chiang
it
Mai.
was. Yeah.
One highlight of Chiang Mai, besides the khao soi and the sausage, because that was just amazing, there was this place called Matum Art Space,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
and there's this local artist. His name is Tua, and it was the first time that I
Shout
had
out
met
to
him.
Tua.
Shout out to Tua. First time I had met him. He's got a Facebook page, by the way,
Yeah, we'll link that.
and just an incredible guy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool, amazing artist. I bought a few of his prints,
Yeah,
and
where are those, by the way?
they're supposed to be on the way. supposed to be on the way.
I better email him.
But Scott had met him, I think, on the trip before, or one of the trips before.
4 or 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, but
yeah.
he's one of those guys, man. He's just a sweet guy,
So sweet. So
and
sweet.
his art is really, really good. And it's one of those things where, yeah, you could probably go to Chiang Mai's version of IKEA,
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Bed Bath and Beyond, whatever. But the ability to go to this place that's, again, in the middle of this neighborhood that you probably would have never found otherwise,
Right.
and meet Tua and see his art was just
Yeah.
amazing. It was just really cool.
Wow.
For sure.
Yep.
And then we went to Taiwan. On the way back, we had like a 24-hour layover,
Which was crazy.
and that was crazy. I feel like, did that really happen?
Right. It was so
So
much
it was
in
like
one
a crazy
night.
culture shock between Taiwan and
Very different.
Thailand.
Very
Yeah.
different. I mean,
Would you,
I hate to say this. I don't want any of your Taiwanese listeners to get offended by this.
I don't think
but
we've ever had a download in Taiwan, so I think we're
now,
safe.
Granted, we had such a limited amount of time, but
less than 24 hours.
less than 24 hours. We went to the what was a National Museum, and we saw. Oh my goodness, we saw. So they have these jade. They have a lot of jade, and
Yeah.
there are two in particular that everybody goes there for. One is jade cabbage, bok choy.
Okay.
So it's jade that is carved into. It looks like bok choy. Right.
Which doesn't sound impressive
No,
at first. You're
I'll
like,
be
oh,
honest with
okay.
you, it was cool, but I was kind of like, wait, this is what they're talking about? But then what really got me excited was the other jade that was shaped like pork belly. And that got me a little excited, I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you.
They have a room
Really?
dedicated to these two pieces.
Yeah, and there were that's where there was a line to get in there. People were all over that pork belly.
Like literally
jade.
a piece of pork belly.
It looked like it's not really pork belly, it's jade.
But it looked
Right.
like it.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna look at a picture right now. I guarantee you that when you look at this, your mouth will water just a tad.
That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, Taipei was okay.
We went to a food market,
We
a
didn't get a
night
chance
market.
to really explore it that much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We met some interesting people, and
That's jade.
ate some
that's
really
jade.
good food.
See, when I think of jade, I think of green,
Yeah,
emerald.
Okay, so you think of this, right? Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but that is beautiful.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it's not awful, but it's definitely like that's some wow.
It's very famous, very famous.
Really?
If you type in on Google Taipei jade bok choy, you'll see this, and I mean people love it.
and it's not. What the impressive part to me is it's not huge. It's small.
It's not that big.
Well, that's what
Way
she said.
smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah, but to get that detail on jade,
Yeah. And but
That's
what was
crazy.
cool about this museum was, I mean, you had jade pieces and paintings and all these things that were from like, I mean, ancient, way older than anything we have here
Sure.
in the U.S.
Oh,
older
yeah.
than Jesus.
Yeah.
Word.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are older than Jesus.
Our idea of how long he's been around.
Really wasn't that long ago.
No, not really.
Think about it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago.
Did you guys, and not to divert, but did you guys hear about the sarcophagus they just found in Egypt?
Keep going.
They were excavating they were doing some construction, and they found like a 3 meter by 4 meter sarcophagus in Egypt. and it was just buried under the sands. And they say it weighs 30 metric tons. It's a black sarcophagus, and they're thinking about opening it up to see what's inside of
I
it.
did hear about
Have you
this.
seen the memes that people have been putting on Facebook?
I have not.
I've seen movies about this. Don't open it. Nothing good happens.
Well, there is
clickbait?
there is a thing about it. The Pharaoh's curse. You know, whoever opened up the Great Pyramid and started excavating stuff out of it, they all died. But then again, I guess everybody has a life expectancy.
They opened it up.
They opened the sarcophagus up?
So it looks like, so what they found was an ancient mummy that was, let's see here. It's a 9.8-foot sarcophagus that dates back to the Ptolemaic period between 305 BC and 30 BC. It's still intact after being dusted off with little decay to the bones and skull. Here's a photo. Ooh.
Yeah, because they were saying, like, look, if it was buried that deep, maybe there was a reason.
Oh, crazy.
Little do they know, the thing
Wow.
is full of, like, disease that there are no antibiotics.
Yeah, right. It's got, like, ancient AIDS on it or something. I don't know.
It turns out to be Satan's tomb.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I just saw that pop up on my Twitter feed today. I was like, that's nuts. Sorry. Not
So,
to take
anyway,
away from your trip, but
Speaking of death,
Speaking of nuts, so really
I heard
hot,
you got your stomped during a
sweaty.
Thai massage.
You know what? That was an interesting
Thai
experience.
massage.
It makes
It
you feel like you just get
was-
done with an MMA match at the end of it, doesn't it?
It's yoga, but they force you into these positions.
Well, it's like they do yoga. It's like doing yoga, but you don't have to move. They move for you.
Yeah.
That's my kind of yoga.
I
though.
cannot stop laughing at the beginning.
Well, you're a little ticklish, right?
right.
Well, for me, it was that like they kept putting their elbows in like the middle of my arm to
Yeah.
Oh
like,
gosh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, you guys are killing
Who is
me.
this strange woman between my legs right now?
Right,
Well,
and
here-
the weirdest part about it was my wife was right next to me having it done to her too. I'm like, don't touch me there, don't touch me there.
Well, here's the thing with Thai massage is when they hit those spots that really hurt, you can't let on about it because if they know they've reached a spot that hurts,
Oh, they dig in.
They'll go to town, man. So you have to like sit there and just be like, this is fine. This is fine.
I'm
Bow,
tapping. Do you see me tapping?
Bow bow.
Bow. Lighter. What's the other-
Hashtag bow bow.
Yeah, bow.
There was
It
one
a
point.
2-hour Thai massage.
It was.
Oh my God, we went for an hour and that was enough.
Oh, 2 hours, great.
There was one point where it
At
was,
this point, it's like getting a tattoo. At some point, it's just numb. You're like,
Yeah.
never mind.
I don't know. 2 hours. I like that. I listen. In Thailand, I've done things. I had hour? We had an hour
foot massage.
Well, I could do an hour foot massage
I
for
had
sure.
a facial in Thailand one time.
Dude, there were on that foot massage. They had this pointy wooden.
I'm not going to go
object.
anywhere with that.
Pointy. What is it? Hashtag
Bukkake?
something. Yeah. Anyway, there were these during the foot massage. They had these wooden sharp tools that were just
In your foot, yeah.
wrenching into the
Oh,
foot.
yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It got to the point where it was so painful. I didn't want to appear weak.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I just started laughing because it was almost unbearable.
What do
pain.
they
It
call that?
hurt so bad that it actually tickled.
Well, they call that. They have a similar thing that they do here in the States for the most part called rolfing.
Torture? Oh wait, what is it called?
Rolfing.
Rolfing.
And it's
That
like,
sounds like a German way of like talking about vomit.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
The German word for vomiting. He was
But it-
rolfing.
but what they
ROLF.
do, it's for like
Ing.
folks who have plantar fasciitis, and they beat the hell out of your feet, and apparently it works. But it also feels like
Try that
they're
sometime.
stabbing your feet intensely.
Well, your foot. I mean, these foot massages. I mean, this is like I can't think of the word right now. What is it? It is the science behind it. But I mean, it is like your feet.
Reflexology.
Reflexology, right? And I mean, your feet are there's pressure points, right?
Yeah.
That are connected to every part of your body.
I was crying. I didn't know why.
Really? Yeah. I was like, they're like, this one talks about, this one has to do with your lungs, and they push on it. I'm like, oh, Jesus. I'm like, does that mean I have like lung cancer or something?
They touched on one, and this is your anus, and Carlos shat himself.
This one is your childhood. Oh God. Crying, pain.
So what else went down in Taipei? Anything good?
We had really good food at like 2 a.m. at this restaurant that we had no idea would show itself to us. We were just walking around.
Yeah, we were so hungry.
Shrimp,
Walking around.
noodles
and
with
found this place,
beef.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you guys have duck cheeks at all while you were there?
No, we had pork neck. That was really good. We had that in Bangkok
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember that.
with the papaya salad.
Oh yeah. Pork
Yeah.
neck. That's
Duck
right, that
cheeks
was
are
good.
delicious.
I had duck intestines for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That was in Bangkok.
I guess I didn't have that. I guess.
Roasted duck beak. I'm just joking about that. No,
I had the
beak.
duck beak. Because
Did you?
basically, duck cheeks.
Dip it in some sour cream and onion.
But you know, it's funny you say that because the last night that Kirsten and I were in Bangkok, we actually took a walking food tour. And one of the last
Was
places.
this organized or on your own?
Yeah, it was organized through she found it on TripAdvisor or something. So, because they'll tell you the places like eat here, it's safe for Westerners to eat here. You won't get massive diarrhea. And we went to this one place in Chinatown, and they gave us duck cheeks. And basically, it was the bottom bill of the duck, the larynx, and some of the meat from the jowls.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Crispy?
Very crispy. And the beak itself, the bottom of the bill was very it was deep fried, so it was almost like a chip.
Was it
You
chewy?
No, not really. You didn't eat the whole thing. You only ate a little piece of the bottom.
It was like
bill.
a crackling.
Kinda, yeah.
Huh.
It was good.
I've had pork cheek.
Pork
That's
cheek is
fantastic.
delicious. I had that
Yeah.
at Girl and the Goat.
Was that called
I've had that.
jow?
So good.
Yeah.
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 Awful word though.
Yeah,
if you're,
one of those-
I would say some
Jow.
of the safest food to eat in Thailand would be street food because you're
Really?
seeing it right there being
True.
made in front of you. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I would be more concerned about the place where you don't see
Right.
what's going on.
Well, a lot of the concern for
The disgruntled cook that has to cook for you at 2 a.m. that doesn't want to. You know.
making you shrimp.
Yeah, exactly.
like the other place
Right.
we went to.
Whoa. I need to hear this story.
No, that's in Taipei.
That's in Taipei,
Right.
yeah.
Again,
Yeah, remember what was that they brought to our table? Those peanuts? Were they peanut? They were.
Oh,
That
There
was disgusting.
they were okay. So we sit down. It's a rotary style table where you put food in the middle and you
sure.
turn it. Big lazy Susan. The first thing this guy does is come over and takes out this bucket that probably used to be for cheese puffs.
Sure.
Reaches in, grabs a hand of peanuts, puts a pile in front of me, pile in front of Scott.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's nice.
Was there boiled peanuts?
No.
No, just regular peanuts.
Okay.
You know, you're like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, it's go good with beer.
Yeah.
You're like, oh wow, I feel like I'm at the Texas Roadhouse.
15, 20 minutes later, we're eating. We've gone through the peanuts. He's outside digging in his ass.
Yeah, I doubt they're wearing
Beautiful
gloves
guy.
over there.
Anyway, at the end of the night, at the end of the meal, we're out front. Look back in there, and he's taking the peanuts that we didn't eat, putting them back into the bucket for the next people coming in.
Well, you don't want to be wasteful.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Look, seriously,
But hey,
money is short to go around over.
you're not eating the shells.
Right.
That's
Right.
true. That's true. That's a protective covering.
Right. Kind of like
Exactly.
the ice on the top of the ice cream at my house.
No, but the prawns that we had, the shrimp, were really, really good. Obviously,
Oh,
they're
dude, prawns are
on the
fantastic
ocean.
over there.
I think because of that, even the worst food that you get, it's just going to be better by default.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
they're
good. It was
massive.
salted shrimp, I
Yeah.
believe is the Chinese.
Chilies, salted.
I believe in
There's some-
Chinese it's called salted shrimp.
I think I'm going to go to East China Inn and order that after we get done here.
And this was the beef, which looked more like
Ooh.
pork to me, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And the next morning, I walked to this local coffee/breakfast spot.
Mm-hmm.
Ordered these things that were like crepes, but they were egg. They had fillings inside. Really, really fresh kiwi iced coffee. And you
No,
walk in.
not iced coffee. That was
What was it?
kiwi, kiwi and banana smoothie.
Yeah,
It
I had
was
that, but I also had a nice
fantastic.
coffee.
Yeah, and that's a pretty traditional, like that crepe thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty traditional, but this was like a modern take, right?
Yeah.
So good.
So the name of the place was called Loco Food.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you go in, it was really cool experience, man. You go in, I sit down at the first table I see open. They come over and they're like,
Ooh.
"No, you need to get up and come sit over here." So I'm like, "All right." And there's this huge community table. You sit down next to people you don't know.
Because you were alone.
I was
They
alone.
don't want you to take up space.
Right.
Yeah.
You're alone. You sit down with all these people you don't know. You're eating food,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing. I mean, you're in a country
Yeah.
you've never been. You don't understand the language, but there's something communal about sitting around these people with
Having a
table
having
with
food.
people eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was this awesome, connected experience.
And one last food story from Taipei. We were, Taipei's famous for their beef noodle soup.
Mm.
And so we were determined we're going to get some great beef noodle soup. So I'd gotten into this conversation with the guy that I officiated his wedding. His uncle, who lives in Singapore, I just happened to bring up to him, hey, I'm going to Taipei. I don't know why I did that. It's like maybe he's Asian, so, surely he knows about Taipei.
Right. They're all related, right?
So I said, we're going to Taipei.
Hashtag
And
mildly
he says,
racist.
and I said, we want to get beef noodle soup. And he goes, oh. And it turns out this guy is like an expert on beef noodle soup. He literally took out his phone, and he had probably 30 photos of different beef noodle soups from Taipei.
Really?
So he gives me the name of this place. He says it's all in Chinese, obviously in Chinese, so you're going to have to, translate it or something, right? And so we set off to find beef noodle soup, and that was quite an adventure.
Yeah. Do you remember how I found that one place? I'm looking at the
Oh, my goodness.
the hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's a house next to a tree. Second letter is a chair next to a music stand. Found it. We drove around for probably half an hour before we got there trying to find it. Yeah.
And then it was closed.
And it was closed.
Oh,
yeah.
bummer.
It was closed. So we ended up going to a place that was okay. I hate to say this. I've actually had better beef noodle soup in Naperville, Illinois.
It was still good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
But the idea is you're off the beaten path. You're eating in a place that you would have never found otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the element of just being there and surrounded and taking everything in as you're eating this.
Yeah,
soup.
because there's like a certain sense of nervousness in it. You're like,
Yeah.
ooh, what's this going to be?
Yeah,
You know?
and it opens your senses, right?
Yeah.
Like you're in this place, can't speak
That's
the language.
Exactly. That's totally how, like, when Kirsten and I had our first day in Vietnam, we were just walking around and I was starting to get hungry. I'm starving because I'm a big guy and I need food. And
because you're human and you get hungry.
or that, But we ended up just walking into this. It almost looked like it was a garage that had been converted into a restaurant where it was just a big open wide door. It was probably 15 feet deep.
Plastic chairs.
Yep. Yeah. And it was a pho restaurant. It was the first pho I had ever had. And oh my gosh, I will never and like the ladies came out with the big like bowl of herbs to put in it, and they like did their best to like pantomime to us what to do, and we're like,
right.
oh yeah, all right, that's awesome. And then
so much herbs. You're like, how are we gonna get all these
oh
herbs?
my
God,
right.
So
oh
good.
dude. Have you been to Vietnam Gate yet?
Over on
Lake?
North Aurora?
Yeah.
I have been there. Yeah.
Oh my god. They
I
got
had
great pho.
Isn't it funny, though, the places that are the most unassuming
Yeah.
end up having, like, the best food?
Which are the places that most tourists completely avoid.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that place looks like it's going to give me dysentery.
Can you point me to Hard Rock Bangkok, please?
We did. We did go to the Hard Rock Bangkok, though.
You did not.
We didn't eat there. We just had
to get a T-shirt.
We went there because my father-in-law collects.
This better be good.
My father-in-law collects the Steins from around the world.
Okay, from the Hard Rock.
From the Hard Rock.
Okay.
So we got him a Hard Rock Bangkok beer stein and
I'm sorry.
pint glass.
Look out that window. I'm sorry. These birds. Those birds are absolutely fighting outside the window just now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Look. Oh, sorry.
So is that more or less terrifying to you?
What, fighting birds?
Well,
Yes.
the fact that
'Cause
that
Scott has a
window's
fear
kinda
of birds.
cracked a little bit.
They might get in.
Well, I mean, they're up to something. You can see that they are.
When they look
ticked
like
off.
they're fighting,
they're actually mating.
they're mating.
Yeah, I learned about that in grade school.
I know.
Brown
But
chicken,
it's
brown
the middle
cow.
of summer. No one mates in the middle of summer.
Well, apparently those birds are a bit randy.
Not in my house anymore.
So yeah, so
Damn it.
if it makes you feel any better, mine either.
High five. High five.
I need some cow.
But anyway, yeah. So, but no, we went there to get Kirsten's dad a pint glass, and we had like a cocktail, and then we left. We didn't eat food there.
U.S. $19 for probably.
It was a gift,
Yeah, that's fine.
But we
US
also
$19.
went. Hey, did you guys go into any of the shopping malls?
Oh my God, they're amazing.
They're
Yeah.
immaculate.
Incredible.
They're
Well, we went to like
over the top.
we went to one of the like super fancy malls, and then we went to like.
Did you go to Terminal 21 when you
I
were in
have
Bangkok?
no idea, but we also went to like a dirt mall that was there,
Dirt mall.
where it's just kind of like
Completely
a
made out of dirt.
no. It was more like a
Market, perhaps?
internal flea market where they didn't sell food and
MBK.
herbs. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, where they have like one floor is electronics, one floor
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
like jeans. Another floor.
Another
is
floor
shoes.
is just like knickknacks and.
You can find anything in that place.
Oh, dude, they were amazing.
Yeah.
And it was
fake
just
iPads, fake iPhones,
Yeah.
fake watches, fake
For sure.
everything.
and it was just like it was a maze getting through the place. We bought
Yeah.
a bunch of tchotchkes
Yeah.
and stuff there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a fun place.
yeah.
Sure.
So next time you go, you got to check one of those places out. Those places are
That's the
dope.
thing about Thailand, honestly,
Mall.
is the diversity, right? So you'll have super modern and then these ancient temples, and I mean, and there's architecture there that you would never see in the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very modern. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stuff that you wouldn't anticipate to see either. You know, you're like, oh, I'm going to Asia. It's just going to be typical Asian,
Right.
style design. You're
Right.
and of course from our Western way of thinking, where it's like, well, it's going to be like a Chinese domicile or a Shinto. It's going to be one of the two. It's not going to be anything else. And then you get there and it's like modern, but yet it's got the flair. It's really dope.
There
The
are things that you
architecture
see there
is
where you're
amazing.
like, man, I wish they had this in the U.S. That'd be so cool.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
we went to the museum. Just dang birds again. Sorry. This is. Yeah.
I hope they don't come through the window and a bloodbath ensues.
Hey, what was it? ADD-AF, right?
Yeah, ADDAF.
Well, okay,
There we go.
It's definitely kicking in. So no, what I was gonna say is like walking into the that museum we went to, your phone was almost dead, and they had a little lockers you could plug your phones in for $1 and
Leave it there and let
Whatever
it
it was.
charge.
Really?
yeah.
Dude,
Super
we
convenient.
totally need one of those here.
Like, why are those not everywhere here?
Dude.
Why, or here's another example.
Business venture. I hear it.
Seriously. Or you buy a drink in one of these places and they actually put it in a plastic bag with handles.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're going to get on a motorbike or you're going to walk, right? And it's
Mhm.
easy to carry. Granted, here we have cup holders in our cars, but I mean, it's just
In El Salvador, they did the like they put a Coca-Cola in a bag
In
for you
bag
or whatever
with a straw.
with a straw, but they were always telling us, don't drink those. You'll poop out your butt. Like
as
worse.
opposed to pooping out of your.
Well,
actually,
actually, it was more like you would pee out of your butt.
oh, gosh,
So yeah,
that's-
you didn't want
I've
that.
experienced that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm used
that's
to
not
that
good.
at this point.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
So
stop
with that
eating
said,
at White Castle. Stop eating at White Castle, son.
love White Castle.
I know. I can only eat it every now and again, though. It makes my stomach do things that it shouldn't do.
Yeah, I can only do that on my nights when I don't have anything going on the next day.
Yeah, for sure. You instantly regret it. You're
I
like, oh, these
don't-
are so delicious. Oh, God, but they're so delicious.
I don't have anything going on the next day. I hate myself. White Castle.
Right. Might as well drink a 6-pack of
Jalapeno
beer.
ones are
Yeah.
so good.
I've
They're
not
so
had the
good.
jalapeno
And they
one.
don't put pickles on those though. You have to ask for pickles on the jalapeno ones.
Well, because they put jalapenos on it. How
Oh, you
greedy
know
are
what
you,
else?
you American?
Chicken rings. They're chicken
Oh,
rings.
that's
are
disgusting.
No. There should not be an
No.
O. There shouldn't be a hole in the middle of your chicken O. Sorry.
No. That's like as bad as the McRib.
Or-
Although, once in a
Oh my
while-
God. The
No.
McRib is
I
amazing.
can't eat the McRib, man. You know
Every
they.
year I get excited when I see it.
Oh,
Those
I
pickles,
don't.
The pickles and the onions, they yeah.
2
Dude.
for $5 McRib.
Yeah, you know what? There's a chemical in that they also use in yoga mats.
Yeah, but it's so good.
Well, but yoga
So did
mats,
Subway,
have you ever
though.
tasted a yoga mat?
I try not to.
They aren't as bad as you think.
So how was the music over there? Did you guys notice any music or like one thing that I did notice is like the movie posters and stuff like that
Yeah.
up there. Like it's totally like American movies, but it's all
Yeah.
like with the Thai writing on it and stuff
Right.
like that.
Well, they're really up on the movies. Like movies release there almost the same time here as
Yeah.
they do here. Yeah. And their movie theaters are amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Which is interesting there because you have to stand for their national anthem before
Yes.
every movie.
That's right.
We never went to a movie, but we were told about it.
Oh, I did. Yeah. And
Yeah.
everybody stands and sings their national anthem to the king. And
Yeah.
I mean that's the beautiful thing about Thailand. One of the beautiful things about Thailand is the respect and love they have for their king, who actually just about a year and a half ago maybe their king passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very that was a big loss for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you don't even really talk about it with them.
Right.
It's like, don't go there.
Yeah. And that was one thing that I did read before going there. Like I read one of those Let's Go Thailand books or something. It was
Yeah.
like, if you lose your money on the ground, don't step on it to pick it up because if the
Mm.
king and the royal family's portraits are on the money,
Yeah.
and to step on it would be a
Well,
disrespect.
and your
disrespect.
feet are
Dirty.
yeah. You do
Very
not put
dirty.
do not point your toes or your feet towards. You don't pat people on their heads.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Take your
that's-
shoes off before you go into
Yeah.
a temple.
Yeah, that's all that
houses.
interesting cultural stuff that I really love.
It is. It's beautiful. Right.
You know,
and
'cause-
even the way they greet each other.
Yeah.
Right. Sawadee Kap. Right. The Sawadee. It's like the
I recognize the.
Well, it's similar to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's similar to the what's the word? For some reason, I can't think of it right now. in yoga. They do it all the time in yoga. People right now are
Oh,
like,
namaste.
namaste, right?
Yeah.
The divine in me honors the divine in you, right? Like
Right.
It's this beautiful recognition. So everywhere you go in Thailand, it's like the men say Sawadi Kap and the women say Sawadi Ka.
Right.
And it's just this respectful culture. Whereas here we're like, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what's unique about that is even if you don't know the language,
Yeah.
just a simple act of smiling at someone,
Mhm.
they smile back at you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Thailand, land of smiles.
Yeah.
It's so awesome there.
You know
man.
what's weird right now? I looked over at you, Carlos, and you actually have bedhead right now. How did this happen? Just in
Do
the
I?
last 20 minutes.
I don't know. Do I really?
A little bit. Doesn't it look like it?
I don't know. I didn't see the other side of his head. I was
This
I'm
is-
pretending
getting
he
my
was-
gray
you had
coming
half-
in right here.
Oh,
in
I
my
did
top.
notice the gray coming in. You got
Yeah.
that Mark Ruffalo thing going on right
Oh,
now.
I'll take that. It's a Greek thing, I think.
Is he Greek?
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
no.
know.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, it
Greek.
sounds very British to me.
Greek thing. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
I'm just
yeah,
trying
for
to get.
sure.
I'm trying to get the tri-gray going on in my beard, and got to be able to grow one first
Yeah, the one thing that I did notice when we were over there was that.
instead of my dick bush.
That's
And that's
And
the
that's
end of the podcast.
a podcast, people.
I've got bedhead.
But we, at the hotel we were staying at in Chiang Mai,
What does that even mean?
I don't.
Dick Bush.
No, bedhead.
Oh, bedhead. Like
There's so
when you
many
fall
different translations to those two words.
Well, let me Merriam-Webster that for you, or Urban Dictionary it for you.
I have to pee so bad.
All right, we'll put a pause on it. All right, so we just got the Scott just got done wiping the dew from his lily,
Yeah.
and
So no need to Urban Dictionary. I
yeah, you
got
don't
it.
have to Urban Dictionary anything, but we got somebody coming in that's needing to use the space that we are in. So we're gonna wrap this up real quick, and as on every Pop Goulash podcast, I will ask Carlos first because Scott's running away with the empties. What have you been consuming this week, sir?
Man, I'll tell you what happens to me every time I open up Netflix. Oh shit!
Dude, your beer is icy cold.
Every time. I'm gonna watch something new. Spend 10 minutes scrolling through all the titles. End up watching The Office. I
Really?
watch it all the time. That's
Listen, I'm tired of hearing this. I've given you so many shows to watch on Netflix.
like Fauda.
Fauda's been great. I
Check
love
out.
Fauda.
I don't know what that one is.
Fauda, it's an Israeli show.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a reader?
Yeah, no, they have translation.
No.
They
Oh,
voiceover,
yeah.
which is, you gotta
I'd
get past
prefer to
that.
read it, actually.
I do too, but then you got to pay it. Yeah, because I love hearing them speak
Mhm.
in their languages.
Yeah.
Right? But it's then you got to pay attention, which is
Yep.
not my strong.
Right.
So anyway, The Office. I've got about 4 or 5 books that I bought that I swear I'm going to read, and about a few pages into each of them.
Sure. I
But
feel
yes, sir. Give me Office every day. I will
Nice.
take it.
you. Well, what about you, Scott? What have you been consuming this week?
Yeah, you know what? Hostages. I just started that.
Okay.
It's another Israeli show.
Sure.
I love international movies.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shows. So Hostages has been good. Fauda. Sense8 was great. Did you see Sense8?
Sense8? No, the Wachowski brothers did, or sisters, I should say.
Or
The Wachowskis at this point.
Sense8, yeah.
They did that. And it was
Right.
filmed here in Chicago, parts of it.
It was, you know what, that was filmed all over the world.
Yeah.
And it was so expensive.
How do you
The
spell
budget
that,
for
by the
thing-
way? Sense8.
Sense, as in
SE.
like senses? 8, the number 8.
Really?
Yeah, and they did 2 seasons.
Is it a series or each individual episode is its own thing?
It's a series.
Okay.
And it's about the interconnectivity of these people, right? Like, I saw the first episode, and it was like Matrix level, like, what the F? You know?
Yeah.
And
it's
It-
pretty great show.
Like
And-
on par with Black Mirror, kind of
I would
messes your
say,
head type of deal?
I would say maybe. I don't know. I never watched the whole thing.
Lost in Space was cool.
I saw the first episode, and I'm like, eh.
Well, because we grew up with the original one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Danger, Will Robinson.
Right. And I love that show when I was a kid. But, what
As
was
did
cool
I.
was watching my kids watch this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Very
Lost
cool.
in Space. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Who is the guy? There's a comedian. I'm gonna find it right now. Hold on a second. I know we got to wrap up.
Oh, is this the guy we
Some-
watched in
Yes.
Chiang Mai?
Somebody say something while I look for this.
The comedian he's about to show you is
Is he the Australian guy?
It's kind of dry humor a
No,
little
he's
bit,
from New York. He's a writer.
but
for
he's really,
SNL.
really, really funny. Goes great with beer.
Keep talking.
Goes great with beer.
He does. Watching him. on Netflix. Of course, the more you drink,
John,
the more...
not John Mulaney.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. John Mulaney.
Right on.
He
Really
is
funny.
Yeah. He had his own sitcom for a short time period, but it didn't
What was
really...
it?
The John Mulaney Show.
Oh.
I don't know about that, but
And it didn't go very far.
His piece on was it an elephant? Oh, and that was great. And also the guy that would come in and do pep rallies at his school.
Oh, yeah.
I have to check it out.
Got kind of ticked off about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
About him doing the bit?
Yeah, and it's a Chicago.
Yeah, it was
Chicago
a
guy.
cop?
Yeah,
It was a cop, yeah.
Chicago cop, right?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll have to
it's
check that out.
fantastic. It's one of the best things I've watched in a while.
Nice.
He could pause a little more on his. Of course, I'm going to critique his presentation.
That's like
Right.
going to the show and analyzing everything that's being played and instruments and everything else.
Right. The Cloverfield Paradox, that was pretty good.
I haven't seen that one, but then I haven't seen...
Scary, man.
I haven't seen 10 Cloverfield Lane either.
Scary.
Really?
Wormwood was good.
I haven't seen that one,
With
no.
John Goodman?
The John Goodman one.
Oh, it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, and apparently they were supposed to make one more. So they're going to make a whole series of those.
Yeah,
So
they're pretty good.
nice. Any music you guys have been diving into lately?
Zach Goforth, he's got some
An
good
amazing
stuff.
musician out of Chicago, actually.
Listen, Zach
he is-
Goforth is one of the most talented musicians I know, and he's actually here in the room, and he does not like me talking about him, but I don't really give a crap. So,
Well, actually, I'm going to have Zach on at some point
yeah,
here soon.
Zach is an incredible musician. He plays with a bunch of bands. The Milk Carton Kids.
Milk Carton.
I
I've
actually
heard
They're
something
good.
about them. I
saw
haven't.
They're really
them
good.
live. They were with Zach. Who were they live with that I mentioned? John Prine.
Oh, you went to go see John Prine? Oh,
took my
awesome.
father-in-law. He's a huge John Prine fan.
Yeah.
I've never really listened to John Prine.
John Prine's amazing.
But we went to John Prine concert, and the Milk Carton Kids opened up, and they were fantastic. I also
Excellent.
went to Damien Gerardo last month or the month before.
I'm
Love
not
Damien
familiar with
Gerardo.
him.
Yeah.
It was the most boring show I've ever been to, but
Seriously.
well, it's he's an introvert, right? So
Okay.
you got to draw from his music.
Sure.
I think I was in that evening. I was hoping for a little like take me into your life and tell me your story.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he does that is through his music.
Sure.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Have you heard the new John Coltrane yet?
Yes, I just.
Oh,
downloaded it.
it's so good.
I just listened to it.
So super good.
Love John Coltrane.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
fantastic. And it was
Uh,
all unearthed. Like, it was all stuff
Yeah.
that was, like, lost in his
Right.
first wife's house. She had the
Yes.
master tapes for it, and they finally released it all.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I hope they find that stuff out from like Miles Davis or
Thelonious or any of those
Michael
jazz
Jackson.
guys. Oh,
There's a bunch of music he's not released yet, right?
I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Well, Warner Brothers is about to open up the Prince vaults, which I
interesting.
don't know if they should, because there's a reason Prince didn't release all that music.
Well, but he's probably overjudging. He's
Yeah.
judging his stuff at a higher level.
The
and
dude was a
It's
genius.
probably good stuff. How about the new Africa single by Weezer? I don't know how new it is.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
I haven't heard it yet, but they also
They
did
do a
Rosanna
good job
as
of
well.
it. They do Rosanna, too, from
Yeah.
Toto.
One of the
Yeah.
best songs ever, honestly.
Africa? Have you heard the shitty flute version of Africa?
It's a really, really fun
We'll have to
version.
play that for you after we
It's also a
close the
coffee
mics up.
shop version of two guys that are covering it at this coffee shop that just do an amazing job.
Interesting.
And I would say this, whether or not Zach was in the room with me right now, but some of his songs have completely changed my life. Amazing.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Right
Zach
on.
Goforth. Google him. Zach Goforth. I don't think he has a
Zach
website.
Goforth.
Use the Googles.
Use the Google.
iTunes.
So,
Right.
anything else? We love talking about pop culture stuff.
I don't know.
Have you seen? Okay, so for me, I've been watching Queer Eye on Netflix.
Oh, man.
I cry almost every time.
Dude, that's been amazing.
I downloaded every episode to watch on the way to Thailand.
Yeah,
Wiping tears.
dude, it was
On the plane.
so good.
Traveling on an airplane, you cry more with movies. Did you know that's like a proven thing?
Really
Yeah.
interesting. I did that during Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, which is a fantastic indie film. It was a fantastic indie film, and I saw that while I was traveling. I don't even remember where I was going, but I'm like weeping like a child in my seat during the end of it.
Queer Eye for the Strike. That's a tearjerker, man.
Yeah, and
It's
apparently
not-
I never
If you don't
watched the
cry
original.
watching that, you don't have.
You
a
have
heart,
no
okay?
soul.
And if you
son.
think it's just
are-
about fashion, it's not
It's
about
not.
that at all.
And the
There's
funny
some of it
It's
that
about
is.
bringing out the best of
Yeah.
people, right?
and the
It's
funny
about
thing
transformation.
is, yeah, absolutely. And from what I've heard, I never watched the original series ever. But from what I hear, this way, the one that that Netflix has picked it up and done it is a completely different spin from because the original was it's just how you dress. It's this. They don't get deep to the heart of the matter.
True.
Really? That's
I
because
don't think so.
that's how I had heard it.
I remember watching the original one and being
Really?
kind of moved several times.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I mean, maybe it's a little deeper this one, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That one was good too. Let's not diss the original one.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, I'll try not to. But yeah, I just wrapped up the last season of Glow, which is so good. It's such cheesy schlock, but it's awesome. It was based off the original Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and they made up a fictionalized series about it, and it's great.
That's funny. That reminds me of my grandfather. He liked watching women. What do they call the weightlifters? The
bodybuilders.
Women bodybuilders. I remember I used to like walk in. He'd be watching that, and he really liked it.
Interesting.
But let's change the subject.
Yeah.
Is that the show that's based off the novel Push by Sapphire?
I don't know.
No, that's Precious.
Precious, yeah. And then I'm currently wrapped up in Luke Cage because that just came out. But have you guys seen Hannah Gadsby's Nanette?
No.
It's a stand-up special, and it's a gut punch. Like, there's some comedy in it, but my God, it is such a fantastic... She tells her story.
I'm not a big stand-up guy.
But she's not... Like I said, it's more of a... Actually, like, after I got done watching it, I'm like... That was less of a stand-up special than it was a TED Talk.
Well, I mean, if you're watching comedy, you don't want a TED Talk.
Yeah, but it's an hour long, and I actually...
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that critique is really that great because, like, hey, it's not a TED Talk.
But it's not comedy either. But it is because, I mean,
love TED Talks, though, too.
there are definite moments of sheer, like, humor in it.
Yeah.
But then, like, she tells the true story about the humor. And
right?
yeah, and there's a darkness behind it.
Yeah.
Like, she tells a story. She tells this joke about how she was flirting at a bus stop with this woman because she's a lesbian.
Okay.
And she was flirting at this bus stop with this woman. Tells this funny joke about it, and he's
And
like,
what better place to flirt with a woman?
right, at a bus stop. And, like, her boyfriend, I guess, comes up and says something to the effect of, oh, I thought you were one of those queer guys. I was going to kick your ass. But, oh, you're a woman. You're all right. Ha ha. And it was a big joke. But at the end of the special, she's like, yeah, well, I didn't tell you the true story of what happened. He says, after he said that, he turned around. He's like, oh, you're one of those lady queers. And he beat the shit out of me.
Oh.
And it's like, it takes a total, like, swing.
Suddenly it turned into a TED Talk.
Yeah. And it's a gut punch, but it is absolutely like a wonderful eye-opening things for white dudes like us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's horrific. It's
Half Greek,
holistic.
by the way. Just to point that out.
White guys like you.
Half Greek.
Yeah, that's a nationality, not a race, homie, according to the National Census Bureau.
I'm also a little Middle Eastern with a little Jew sprinkled on top.
Yeah.
You're still a white guy. But no, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you guys see it. It's excellent.
What was the name of it? I'll put it in right now.
Nanette by Hannah Gadsby, Gadsby, or Gadsby.
Add it to my list right now.
Yeah,
Done.
it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And if you're not in tears during part of it by either laughing or crying, you're doing something wrong.
All right,
Absolutely.
we'll check it out.
I am
Thank
so
you.
hungry right now. I can't even tell you.
All right, well,
so much
then
about food.
let's wrap this bitch up. So for Pop Goulash this week, I'm Ruben.
I'm Carlos.
Scott Hodge.
Be kind to one another.